Hello, hello, hello. I thought I'd jump on live while I do some work, as I have done for about 4 or 5 times in the last couple of weeks. Hope you're doing good on this Tuesday. I will be... Oops. Where'd it go? This is going to be the new version of the app. We got Hypnotic Meditations, brand new, and then Reflections, which I'm working on right now. But feel free to ask questions if you got questions about anything. We have got 40, 50 already recorded. By the way, these reflections are like 5 or 3 to 10 minute audios, which will be little reflections, ideas, thoughts, things to consider, things where I can then direct you to actual sessions based on a subject I'm talking about. But they'll be there to hopefully help you. Maybe we'll just keep this up. Just like in the corner. Just in the corner over there. Yeah, why not? What should we do first? What should we do first? I actually heard something today on a podcast, which was in like, it was a podcast, but it was a radio show. And someone said something really cool, so I'm going to apply that. All these reflections are things I either talked about or I'm listening to and then trying to figure out as I go along. But go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, all the things. That we need to do. So there'll be a bit of silence just so I can edit this on post-production. So let's start. Oh, very quickly. Welcome back. All the way from Germany. Great to have you here. Yes, 22:11. It's my 20 to 4 right now. Our clocks haven't changed. Oh, from Cardiff, Wales as well. Great to have you here. So, I'm just here to record some audio for work. I'm not on camera, obviously, so I can sit down. I go live on Mondays and Fridays when I'm on camera, usually, doing hypnotic meditations. But there's going to be the new version of the app at the bottom, or to the right of the screen, and we're doing the work in Reflection. So let's go ahead and begin. Hey my friend, welcome back to another reflection. And this reflection is something I just pretty much listened to on a podcast, although it's an audio of a radio show in the 90s. And I thought it was a good analogy to consider, and we're going to expand upon it a little bit. So what they said was this: everything I'm going through it. Now, what does that really mean? Because we go through a lot of stuff in so many different ways, from the contrasting experiences for significant emotional events that we go through. And it's almost as if we have this mindset that even if I'm going through stuff right now, I'm still gonna go through it. It entails having the ability to navigate that situation. Otherwise, if we're not going through it, we're resisting it. And if we're resisting it, we're more likely to repeat it. We have lots of themes in our life. I'm sure you've had many. Lots of different cycles, lots of different stories that we've been playing into. Some stories that we've been trying to repress or deflect. And if we do that, if we keep on trying to repress, we keep on trying to deflect it, we're trying to just get away from this through sedation, through social media or food or alcohol, or if we just repress it down unconsciously, it's still going to be there, but it's going to come back bigger as we go through, because our unconscious mind is always trying to communicate with us. So maybe we start to see this as an opportunity that will allow you to go through the situation. So everything I'm thinking about now, everything I'm going through right now, I'm going to go through it. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to learn because of it. I'm going to adapt. And I wonder what I can learn from this experience, which will allow me to be even safer in the future. Because I do not want to repeat this same stuff. I don't want to repeat this cycle, this story. And when I do so, when I stop doing that, and it's a good little wake-up call, I mean, just be conscious right now. Do you have any particular themes which just keep on popping up, whether it be around money, relationships, career, your health, finances, in different areas? Could it be in a certain context? Could it be in a certain, say, more emotional, belief-wise? There's so many different levels to this. But everything I'm going through, I'm choosing, which is the assumption of responsibility, right? I choose to assume responsibility in this situation, to go through it, to learn because of it. Otherwise, I'm going to be destined to repeat it over and over and over again, and you know how tiresome that can be. So have a little reflection on that. Everything I'm going through, I'm going through it and not repeating it. I look forward to speaking to you on another reflection. Many thanks and goodbye. Okay, that's one down. We did it. So the app, thank you so much for your kind words. So you can get the present app. I've moved my buttons far away from me, so 1 second. It's going to be a blank screen. Usually I'm on camera here, so excuse that. Oh, I'll move it there for a second. So, now the comments in the way. So if you go to freehypnosis.app, this is my app. You get 7 days free access to everything, but if you choose not to have the kind of a cheaper subscription, you still get access to over 1,000 audios and 2 hypnosis session or meditation and a hypnosis session every single week, totally for free. I want to help as many people as possible, but if you do become a subscriber, you get you can create your own audios, which you can see on the screen here. You got a 4-hour sleep section. You've got day and night hypnosis sessions in the hypnosis library. You've got soon to be these reflections, the meditations. So this is actually what it's going to look like. So there's going to be in here soon. Your audio programs. What else have we got? Create your days. You can repeat. You can put dark mode. You can add playlists, so they just go from one track to another. And you can heart them, so they kind of go at the top of the feed, and they'll actually be in the profile section. And all that good stuff. Look, there's a 4-hour one right there. Oh look, you can add it to a playlist. You can transform while you sleep. So that's the app at freehypnosis.app. And on that web page, it technically just either guides you to the Android store, Google Play, or the Apple Store. So that's it. That's the app. But thank you once again for your kind words. Now, where am I in the void? Where am I? Where'd it go? Oh dear. I'm lost. I've lost the void. Where did I put it? I got so many different scenes. Oh, there we go. So yeah, there's going to be the Hypnosis app. Nevada by Lake Tahoe. That's awesome. Great to have you here. I haven't been to Nevada. I'm in San Diego, California. And I used to drive to Vegas quite often because I had my ex-wife, her father lived up there. So we used to go there quite commonly. But welcome. And Mina's here as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, and thank you for becoming a member on Google, on YouTube. Supporting the show, I appreciate that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm just doing some work recording these new reflections, which will be in the app hopefully very, very soon. So the developers tell me. And what a bill I'm going to be receiving soon. It's costing me to do all these new updates. This round is going to be 13,000, I think. Or 15, I cannot remember. But I'm excited because I think it's going to be really helping a lot of people. So we did one, which was everything I'm going through, I am going through it. I liked it. I heard that. Actually, Mina, if you're still here, it was from the Art Bell podcast. Art Bell radio show. I was listening to it on my hike today. Okay. Apps are expensive. But I'm fortunate in a sense that my other work is able to complement and invest into it. And that means we can help more people. And this was just this round. Oh my goodness, all the other rounds has gone through. But it's still good. It does stuff. Hey Eric, great to have you here. Welcome. We're in the Void stream. Feel free to have questions. Yeah, you missed the first one. It was the best one ever in the whole world, and you missed it. I explained the answers of the universe, the meaning of life, which is not 43 or whatever people say it is. It's 44. 24, sorry. They made a mistake. Right, what should we go for first? First, second. Okay, I love this one. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm happy to keep on investing. I like it. I haven't checked the stats yet, but we've probably 42. See, hey, reverse that number around. What'd you get? 24. What does 24 mean? What's the best number in the world? It's my lucky number. So 24 is the answer. I've never read the book or seen the movie, but I get that one a lot. Okay. I've still got to come up with this one in a way which is a positive story. So I'll think about it while I'm speaking this one, and then I promise to do it on this episode, or this. I'm not even doing an episode today. Oh, and by the way, very quickly, I just recorded today. What did I record today? I recorded the day and sleep and 4-hour sleep of the productivity and focus hypnosis sessions. So those are going to be awesome. Well, is it? Is it?
I disagree. I really disagree. And should we talk?
About the devil today? Trust me, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. But I got a subject around that as well. Whether you believe in the devil or not. Let's take it as an analogy. I might do that one. But let's go ahead and do this first one. Second one. Right now. Radio silence for 10 seconds. Hey my friend, welcome back to another reflection. These short audios are there just to make you reflect, to think, to ponder, to consider, to hopefully have an epiphany or an insight. And also, sometimes I'll tell you a hypnosis session or a free episode which will relate to that subject. This one is just very, very simplistic, but I think it's also very, very deep if we really think about it. And it's simply, belief is the enemy of knowing. Belief is the enemy of knowing. So what do we mean by that? You see, as we go through life, we assume many different kinds of beliefs. Beliefs politically, beliefs socially, beliefs about ourselves, beliefs about health, relationship, careers, finance, or money. We tend to gather these beliefs based on what? Data. The data is really the experiences that we go through. If we go through a number of experiences, we may decide to have a belief. And those beliefs may not even be ours. They could be generational. They could be many generations ago, passed down. I don't know about you, one that I had growing up was I had to eat everything on my plate. That was just a simple belief. But it wasn't really relative to the time of my life because it actually came from, well, in America, it could have come from like the Great Depression. In England, got like the World War II, rationing and things like that. So those kind of beliefs trickle down even when they weren't necessarily relevant, right? Not necessarily attached to that moment of time. But with that, we may be carrying on beliefs of our parents, how they believe and see the world, because we are modeling them. We are absorbing their mindset, or those who are guardians or parental figures in our life, or even teachers. So we form belief systems about many things. But of course, we can go through those significant emotional events, the not so good ones, which will cause us to have a belief about something or ourselves. But the thing with a belief, it restricts alternative information. We begin to have a confirmation bias attached to that belief. Even to the point, I mean, have you ever had a conversation when someone has, and this could be even yourself, by the way, where you just held onto that belief no matter the new evidence that appeared, or maybe you had a conversation with someone and presented new evidence, even scientific evidence, yet that person held strong with those beliefs. So think of a belief as being a circle or a sphere. It has a boundary, but it's contained within the boundary. What do we have to do to be able to break free? Because if we're missing information, we're actually limiting ourselves, and especially if it's a limiting belief about ourselves or about something. Well, we must strive to wake up that a belief is just formed by experience, and it doesn't have to be true. It can be subjective. We want to look for the objectivity in situations, and I tend to, if I have a belief system, or if I form an opinion about something, I must be looking for the alternative. Like, what other evidence is there? I want to challenge myself, ultimately. To challenge myself into, is this really real? Can this be tested? And if I begin to then learn and grow, I'm then starting to get more into the knowingness. Now, if we take it on a spiritual level or a personal development level, I think we should all be aiming for knowingness. We come into this world blank, we go through events, contrasting experiences with formed beliefs, and it's our job to then go, is this true? What can I learn from this? Are there other ways of seeing the world differently? It's very much like the sentence that the map is not the territory. We have our own map of the world, but it's not all of the whole map of the world, just your present picture of the world. And there's so much more territory to really explore. So have an open mind. Challenge your own belief systems by looking for counterexamples to see if they stand up. And as you go on that journey, especially with hypnosis, you are getting the unconscious mind, because the beliefs are unconscious. It's very hard to consciously change your own belief system. So all the hypnosis sessions are designed to reframe your thinking, to preserve learnings, and to get more into the knowingness of you, that you just are, that you are whole, that you are love, maybe. Maybe that's just my belief, but I like that belief. But we want to really aim with the intention of wholeness, of beingness. And that is what hypnosis is for. So if you have a limiting belief, maybe do a search in the hypnosis library or the 4-hour hypnosis section or the free section and challenge yourself in a good way. An open mind allows you to learn and grow rather than being fixated and looking for the confirmation bias. It doesn't really help us. It doesn't really serve us. So remember, belief is the enemy of knowing. And I look forward to speaking to you on a future reflection. Many thanks and goodbye. Okay, that was another one done. Now that's about the Hitchhiker's Guide. People would rather believe than know, absolutely. Because we're trying to make sense of the world through the beliefs, so they're not necessarily bad, they're good intentions. But they try, or we, because it is me too, we tend to stick to our beliefs because it's trying to make sense of the world. But it's hard to make sense of the world only in belief. But if you have to know, if you get into knowingness, it's far more mindful. So we did that one. Where is it? There we go. I've got to just drag it up into my order so I know how to do the editing afterwards. I'm going to hydrate. So my aim is to get 5 down while I'm here. But I've highlighted quite a few. Now this is going to be very similar to the first one. And then we might go into values, since we talked about beliefs. Maybe we'll do beliefs first, the values first. Actually, no, we won't. I'm going to do this one. I'll be back in a minute. Hey my friend, welcome back to another reflection. These reflections are designed to be able to help you, give you some insight, thoughts, and some epiphanies to consider how you can see the world differently and even see yourself differently. And this one is going to hopefully do just that. When we go through situations, and let's say they're negative, right? We may have anxiety, we may have worries, we may have doubts, we might be painting images in our mind of the worst case scenario. We might be having bad behaviors, actions, and reactions, and they don't serve us. So how can we reframe the situation? Well, biologically, we're usually designed to go for the worst case because it was built into us because of survival, right? We, way back generations ago, our ancestors had to look for the potential downsides for negatives because our life could depend on it. Whether it be, say, other tribes of people, villages, countries, or whether it be predators. Where's the food going to come from next? We lived like that, the survival mode. And of course, we still run that, but we run it in a different way. We live very differently. And of course, if we've gone through significant emotional events, we might tend to develop limiting beliefs about ourselves, which will only enhance the emotional reaction or even the hallucination in our mind of all that could go bad or wrong. So how do we start to reframe this? I ask you to consider this one question. What could be great about this? What could be great about this situation? You see, what that tends to do is redirect your thinking to more of a learning situation. And we talked about just a moment ago, we had to survive. Well, another level of survival is adaptation. We have to adapt to our environment. Not all species have done so, and unfortunately have no longer exist. So if we want to really grow, we need to adapt. The person or the system with the most adaptability and flexibility tends to thrive within that system, that ecosystem. So if we start to ask ourselves different questions, we'll get different answers, different perspectives. So whenever you're thinking of a challenge, and I'm saying challenge purposely because we tend to go, well, I'm thinking about this problem I have. If we go, well, if I think about this challenge, you're going to change your frame of reference slightly. But then if you just add, what could be great about this challenge? Maybe everything I'm going through is an opportunity to grow because of it. What can I learn from this, which will allow me to be safer in the future? There are lots of different questions we can ask, but when we do that, we are starting to retrain your unconscious mind to rather jump to the conclusion, because you've got to become conscious of the underneath process that your unconscious mind is doing, just jumping to one conclusion to another, especially, as I said, if we've gone through limiting situations, significant emotional events. We sometimes have to be the conscious aspect to wake up the unconscious mind. So try to catch yourself in the moment. And the more you catch yourself as soon as it happens, and you ask, what could be great about this challenge? Or everything in my path that has crossed me right now is an opportunity to wake up, to grow, to learn, to adapt, to be resilient. Maybe there'll be something good that comes from this. And it will start to interrupt that pattern. And it will start to get your unconscious mind to generate a new habit. It's just becoming conscious of your inner process and then starting to redesign it. And the great thing about it is, it fits very nicely and congruently with the unconscious mind. We said it's there to protect us. Well, what could be great about this is looking for the learning. It's looking for the wisdom. It's looking for the insight and epiphany. And I would suggest insights, learnings, and epiphanies not only allow you to be safer in this present situation, but they'll allow you to be safer for the future ones to come as well. And therefore, your unconscious mind, after a period of time, will start to see this as a safer action and reaction strategy for you. Now, of course, within the app, you may want to listen to like the anxiety or the overwhelm, or if you've got limiting beliefs. And that's just going to aid you in it. But allow this to be a conscious exercise that you get to change your frame of perspective in any given situation if you choose to. It can take time, but it's worth the interruption for a moment to then reflect on what could be good. And that will actually save you tons of time, energy, worry, stress in the future. So with that, I look forward to speaking to you on a future reflection. Many thanks and goodbye. Okay, that's the third one down. I said 5 minimum, 3 down. Interesting, a friend and I were just talking about survival mode, thus thriving versus thriving just yesterday. Well, nice bit of synchronicity there. Awesome. With that, we'll go into the value work in a moment, because I can talk about, so with my people, and by people in my main program, my main business, you could say, I sometimes do masterclasses here and there. Nah, you're all good. I make mistakes all the time. I did a 3-hour workshop on values. Like, you can take a huge deep dive into values and to uncover, because they're unconscious like beliefs. Well, I'm almost getting into the teaching mode of reflection, so I should probably stop myself. But even on a humanity scale, how situations tend to elevate our values, but also how situations in the world will cause humanity, or locational aspects of humanity. So if something happens in a community, say like a hurricane, tornado, how we can then go down in values based on survival. So we'll do that in a minute. I'm gonna hydrate again. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And you know what? One of these reflections, was it? Did I? I thought I did one around Bob Ross. Did I? Or did I do it on a workshop? I can't remember now. I've recorded like 40 of these, but at least 20 live, and I can't remember if I did so. Because I've done some around Alan Watts. Did I? I can't remember. Maybe it was a masterclass. Or the Hidden Root Cause, which I did at a weekend. But thank you, I really appreciate that. So yeah, let's go into values now. Let's go into values. So I'm gonna be quiet again. And the reason why I'm being quiet, so when I drag the audio into my editor, there'll be silence beforehand and I can quickly edit, like split up the audio track, and then I drag that one down and then put some bit of music to it, and then we're good to go. Oh, thank you so much. So let's go. This one came from the work of Claire Graves, and it was actually called The Memes. Not a meme in terms of what we see in social media. This is way before memes ever existed. What is the meaning? I can't remember what it is now. I haven't taught it for a while. But yeah, it was really, I really like the subject because it explains humanity's ascension and dissension, if that's a word, depending where we choose to go next. So let's go ahead and start in 5-10 seconds. Hey, my friend, welcome back to another reflection. And today we're talking about values. You see, a lot of my work, I tend to talk about beliefs because our beliefs are things that we identify with. In other words, our identity. If I say I am not worthy, I'm saying my identity is not of worth, which is obviously false, and I want to let go of that. And I've got plenty of audios, even done a reflection around that as well. But today we're talking about values, and they're very much equal of value in many different ways. Now, what are values? Well, number one, they're unconscious, just like the beliefs we have. But values are the things which either cause us to do something or to not do something. They are our why we do what we do. So, for example, someone may have a high value for being like high family values, and they tend to lean into being more family orientated. Some people could have higher values for career or learning or for money, or definitely all the different types of areas of life. High value for health compared to someone else. So they'll tend to drive us forward to do what we really want to be doing at an unconscious level, not always at a conscious level. And values are really assumed usually within the very first 7 or so years of our life. They tend to, because we are being imprinted by those values from those in our life, like from our parents. That can also explain why if we've had a bad relationship with money, maybe we modeled that value because our parents had the exact same thing. Now, sometimes that person that may have experienced, say, poverty, but made that value so strong that they're never going to live that way again. And then they tend to strive to have money. So I'm not saying that if we lived in poverty, it equates to only carrying on that story. We can actually do the opposite. It really depends how our unconscious mind works and how you process it. But it goes deeper than that as well. Because if you have, say, you might have a higher value for money. In other words, you really want money. But think about the energetic association to that money. Are you going toward money, or are you going away from money? And we can say the same thing for relationships. Am I going for a relationship which is good, or am I going away from relationships which is bad? So think about that for a moment. Bring it into your mind. Let's say when it comes to, say, money, you can try it out for different values in our life. But is it a case of like, I'm always moving toward money in a pure way, so I'm 100% aligned to getting money? Or am I just getting out of enough debt that I slide back to debt? It's almost like the carrot and the stick. Are we going for it, or are we kind of just getting out of it through pain or through I don't want to be in debt anymore, or I don't want another bad relationship, so we just get out of it, but then we tend to slide back into it. So the value itself is made up of different belief systems about ourselves, about relationships, health, money, and all those things. So I would ask you to consider yourself, and I can talk about this for hours and hours in terms of uncovering and transforming those values. But in this reflection, it's more for you to become conscious of your own values, because they are unconscious. So notice the energy attached to that. What are the beliefs tied to your values? And by the way, values are at an even bigger level, which I won't go into. But for example, if something happens in the world, say a catastrophe, we can actually descend our values. We can forsake values to survive, right? So we just go, regardless of anything else, I might not even be a nice person because I just need to survive. So it really depends on society levels of values. It's really, really fascinating if you do take a deep dive into what values are on a society level. But I don't want to go too deep into that because I love the subject, but at least take away in this mini reflection. What values do I hold? Are they even mine? What is the energy to that value? Am I going 100% toward it? Or am I actually just getting away from it a little bit to then slide back? And that can sometimes explain why we go through these loops, these same old stories. We have the story, we go through the stuff, we quit it for a little bit, we feel okay, and then suddenly we just fall back into that negative association. So consider your values, notice the energy, notice the belief, become conscious of them, because when you do, you can actually use hypnosis, like within the app, on the 4-hour sleep sessions, the day and night ones in the hypnosis library or in the free section. They're there to cultivate, change your beliefs, transform them, and actually have high value so you can get things done as well whilst transforming your life. I look forward to speaking to you in a future reflection. Many thanks and goodbye. Okay, that's another one done. We did 4 so far. If you're new here, welcome. If you're, I wasn't going to say old, that's a bit rude. If you're frequently on these live streams, I usually go live on Monday and Friday. Go live on Monday and Friday when I'm doing like hypnosis meditations or power talks occasionally. But today I am working on a new section of my app. As you look at a screen, that's my mock-up that I designed. It's going to be different, but that's the closest thing I could bring on screen. In the bottom right hand corner of that, and also the bottom left hand corner of that little picture there were 2 new sections, the hypnotic meditations and reflections. And also within the app update, there's going to be categories around, say, health, emotional well-being, relationships, career and learning, and a couple to make it a little bit easier. But it's going to look cool. I've got a demo on my phone. We're still fixing some things. Thank you, John, for subscribing. Sorry to hear that you're on crutches. That's not cool. Hope you feel better and heal quickly. It's amazing what the body can do to heal very, very quickly. And speaking to your unconscious mind, I wonder how quickly and powerfully the body realigns in the most profound, deep way for the most undeniable experience. That's right. Your unconscious mind can do so now. So, we've done 4. One was everything I'm going through it and not repeating. The second was belief is the enemy of knowing. The third one, what could be great about this? And the last one was values, which is so fascinating. It actually also explains the human psychology of how, how entrepreneurs they get to a certain level of success, and then I can never say the word, philanthropist? What? I can't say that word. But they start to then create charities, and people could say tax write-offs and things like that, but they tend to have that level of satisfaction, which then moves them to the next level of wanting to, it's a green value, it's called, which is about the environment and making the world a better place. And there's always going to be downsides from both sides. Even that one, there's downsides. And then they got to go to the next level. But like I said, we can descend down the levels, down to survival. The first one is survival. The second one is based on memory, tribal. Because once we survived, we then got into tribes, we got into communities. The third one is then independence. We kind of swing back to being more independent, going on our own. The fourth one is when we then go into conforming to consensus, which is blue. I'm doing this all from my memory, so I might be a little bit wrong, but going to conforming. And I see that as my mind as like being a worker in an office job. So there's nothing negative about it, but we're in an organization. We kind of conform to rules and regulations. The fifth one I see in my mind, which is orange, is more going alone again. So we're always swinging from left to right, but the expansion of each side gets bigger and bigger. And that fifth one is more, I see it as an example, as being an entrepreneur, going alone, making your own rules, being a little bit of a, I defy to conform anymore. Then we go into the green, which I just mentioned as when, as an analogy, they create charities in that case, or we've had a level of purpose satisfied, so then we want to do more meaningful things. Then we go into yellow, which is almost like a mix of the entrepreneurial and the green of helping others. So it becomes a mix, and then it keeps on going up from there. So yeah, I like the memes. The memes, the real memes by Claire Graves. Look into it. And values are based on belief systems, by the way. Think of seeing the picture there, that's a value, or the image, no, it's changed now. But imagine it as being a circle, and then lots of little mini circles attached to that would be the beliefs which prop it up. Unfortunately, this will never be able to be done. I do not think so. The free section is a feed. It's my podcast feed, technically. I got two, depending on where you are in the app in terms of a subscriber or not. Because the premium one was like $25 a year, is ad-free, plus you get access to the whole app. But it's a feed. And it will be pretty hard to be able to put that into categories. But we have the search bar, so you can search certain subjects and it will come up. Oh, nice. I appreciate that. Enjoy your tea. Hey, Daniel, thank you for subscribing. I don't know if you're here. If you are here, welcome. But I'm also simultaneously live on my channel on 3 other streams right now, 24/7. So we've now done 4. So should we do 2 hard ones? One, I've got to think of a new metaphor because it's based on a story or a study. And then the other one comes from a book called Outwitting the Devil. So they're both pretty dark. Which one should I do? Which one? I don't know. Which one should I do?
I think the first one.
I think the second. I think the first.
I think the devil one.
The study one. I made a mistake in my words. The study one. I'm gonna just change for study, just because the reason being is, I think I talked about this on a live stream before, recently. Everything I try to do is to create positive internal representations. So my words and your words convey ideas, right? So if you listen to me, and if you are listening, you will then begin to make images, thoughts, and ideas based on the words that I say. And if I say like negative internal representations, I don't really like that. It's not bad, but I like to keep it positive most of the time, unless I want to be mean and wake people up a little bit by saying, you gotta assume responsibility. Okay, I'm gonna hydrate and then we'll get going. I'll decide when I unmute myself. Hey my friend, welcome back to another reflection. In this reflection, I want you to consider this as an analogy, as it's not quite the nicest one, but you know, people do not nice things, and we've probably been through lots of not so nice things. But the subject is called building cages that you cannot see, or building invisible cages within our own mind. And where it really comes from, this idea, was a study that they did, unfortunately, with animals. And they pretty much had animals, or they're actually, I believe, primates in a room, and there'll be like a banana hanging. And every time one of these primates took the banana, the others would get like squirted with water. So not a very nice study at all. So just think about it as a lesson here, because it's going to be very important for us. Now, every time this happened, of course, the other primates would then kind of attack the other primate because they didn't want to get soaked water. And after a while, say 100 times of this being done or 50 times, the primate, they all began to learn to not do so. And then they began taking out some of these primates and adding new ones in. And an interesting thing began to happen. Even without the water being there, they passed down the exact same type of response. That any time they went close to that banana, they would start to kind of confront the primate and go, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. Now, what does that really mean? Because those primates weren't there in the beginning of the situation of the study, where they were getting bad reactions if one of them tried to go for the banana. Yet they still carried out the exact same behavior despite not knowing the consequence. And that is what I mean by ultimately building these invisible cages within our minds that limit ourselves. So consider, what stories do you tell yourself which you think is truth? What patterns, habits, behaviors, ideas, belief systems, value judgments that you tend to live up to, that you tend to think is true, but really they were never part of your experience? They may have been imprinted upon you, but then they may have been imprinted generations before you as well. And the interesting thing is, we then start to feed those same cages. We start to reinforce that cage around us by looking for more reasons as to why they should exist. And ultimately, then your unconscious mind begins to assume that same behavior and habit over and over again, looking for more reasons to stay the same or to believe that we're not worthy or good enough, where in reality it is all a hallucination to a degree, because we're creating images of our identity, of what is possible and what is not possible. But in reality, you are far more than possible. You are more than enough, but that belief tends to get in the way. So I wonder what you can begin to think about differently, to become conscious of these invisible cages that we tend to build and reinforce, and then start to deconstruct them. So number one, we've got to wake up to it, to become conscious of our own thoughts, to be conscious of the beliefs that we have. Are they ours, or are they other people? Are they society's beliefs? That's a big one as well. It's not just about our parents or what people did to us. Are we kind of conforming to society's beliefs, which may not always be good? Maybe we've got to be a little bit different. Maybe we don't want to be perfect all the time. That's a big one, right? We've got to be a certain way, act a certain way. Now, of course, we don't want to do anything negative in terms of reacting differently, but it's good to become conscious of how the framework of your beliefs and your perceptions and your values are being run by ourselves that aren't even ours. So number one, become conscious, as I just said. You wake up from that illusionary cage that we've been building, and then dive into the hypnosis. See which one will resonate with you to start to undo those cages and truly get that liberation in who you want to be, where you get to decide, where you get to create, where you get to choose your path on your terms, with the freedom and the clarity and the insight of being a whole person, deeply aligned and congruent with your desires from the outside to the inside. So just become conscious and then start to take action. And I look forward to speaking to you on a future reflection. Many thanks and goodbye. Welcome back. I'm going to listen to that one again when I'm doing the editing. Still not quite keen. I like those positive internal representations. But it's also important to wake up. Okay, we've done 5 or maybe 4, depending how I feel in the post-production. So if you're new here, I'm just recording sections for my app called Reflections, as you see on the screen, bottom right hand corner. That's how the app will look. Hey Cheryl, welcome back. Appreciate your kind words. Mr. C is somewhere, I don't know where. Oh, good. So I'm going to re-listen to it because I wanna. But I like the positive internal reps. So we did the 5, which I decided. We've been here for 63 minutes. That efficiency rate isn't that good, is it? I'll leave the other potential negative one to another time. It was not negative. It's about being a passenger and coasting. Got a duplicate right there. Take that one out. Should we leave it here? Do one more? Yeah, maybe. Well, it's coming up to 4:30 my time. Oh, wowza. Yeah. We definitely can. I know I've assumed some beliefs from my dad. And so has my other brothers. Along the way. Although my dad is awesome though. But one of his fears got passed down. Do you know what? because I've been doing a lot of hiking going high, I grew up in England in a place called Cambridge, and it's kind of like, it's called like East Anglia as well, but it's one of the flattest areas in England. So I've only grew up with flat areas until I moved up to Liverpool for a few years, and then I went to Austin, Texas, and San Diego, California. But I think my neurology is not used to heights. So I've had some vertigo I need to let go of. Because we hiked up 950 or so feet above sea level, and we started out at 2,500 above, so we kind of did like 650 or something like that feet higher. And at the summit, I was like, oh, I feel a bit of whatever you call it. Oh my goodness, my brain. Vertigo. And I've had vertigo before when I've gone high, like is it the Freedom Tower in New York? When I went to the top there. And also in Vegas at the Stratosphere. Fine on planes. No issue there. So I need to let that go. Or is it my body just adjusting having living on a flat land? Who knows? Right, I think that may be it for today. We did the 5 that I wanted to do. If we add that to the others, I've done about 50, 60. And that means we're doing good and great 60 days of content, which I'll probably release every 3 days, which gives me 120 days of content for the future. And I like to be prepared. My podcast is set up until now January the 8th, whilst releasing 3 episodes a week, and my YouTube is in May sometimes. Yes, that's one thing I refuse. If my body says I can't do that, I'm gonna, well, maybe we can. What if we could? What if something great happens here? It's why I went to Thailand by myself, because I didn't want to go. But I knew I had to go, because I didn't want to go by myself. But I thought there's something learning to go by myself. And I went and it was fun. It was hard, but it was fun. And then when I went again and doing all the fitness stuff, fighting with pro people who beat me up a lot, fractured rib, I was like, yeah, I should do that. So sometimes I shouldn't be doing things. Moving to America was one as well. I'm sorry to hear that, Cheryl. We can learn and grow by releasing the unconscious limiting beliefs if we have them. But so far, we've done a lot of these reflections. Yeah. Fractured rib, not so fun. But you learn to not fight professional people. Especially one who was like 6'5". I am totally a normal person. I would never compare yourself I think we just spoke about that, right? Comparison is a theft of joy after all. I know we did one on a reflection. It's good to model people, but also one thing I have concerns about doing my work is I don't want people to have too many associations or expectations or comparisons or unhealthy associations, because you see one side of one person, and if they have helped you, you tend to see them in a good way, which is nice. But if it comes to a disempowerment of the person, like it takes away, for example, there are some therapists out there who will say, I can fix you. And that presupposes that they are the only one who can save you or help you. And it develops for the client, or if it's like a patient of some sort, for them to see them as a savior of them. And that it creates that unhealthy association, of course, but also that total disempowerment. And what I want to do is it to be like a do-with process. Like, yeah, you if I have solutions, but it's because you did the work. And that's empowerment. It's a do-with process. That's how I try to do things. I think that's very important. Unhealthy associations which are disempowering. I'm not saying you are doing that. I'm just saying I like to be conscious. Having good, wonderful energy. That's what we're after. Maybe we'll do one more. Oh, and by the way, people can be way better than me in terms of like, if for anyone out there, you can be way better than me. Because that'll be a limitation within itself if you didn't think that way. Because that means you can't get to that level, and that's limiting. People can be more than that. Yeah, you can like the work. Right, maybe we'll do one more. And then I gotta eat. So, radio silence for 10 seconds. Hey my friend, welcome back to another reflection. And today's reflection, I want us to become conscious of our thoughts. Now, as an analogy, as a metaphor, I want you to bring to your mind a radio. And we still have radios, right? And if you remember radios, you'd used to have to dial in to that station. I know these days we just tend to listen to, maybe just me, listen to podcasts when I'm driving and things. But back when I was using a radio, I would have to dial in to the specific radio station to be able to hear the kind of music that I'd like to listen to. Now, how can we apply that to our thoughts? Well, I think most of us who experience issues with anxiety, worries, and doubts is we're almost tuning in to the wrong radio station. Maybe you want the wonderful, calming, tranquil, classical music, but you're accidentally tuning in to, say, heavy metal rock and roll. Not to say that's not a good music, by the way, just as an analogy, but it's a mismatch on your energy. And we tend to then get trapped into always listening to that music, that frequency. And the unconscious mind tends to keep on repeating that. It's almost like, well, I'm tuning in to the radio station of anxiety. I'm tuning in to the radio station of non-stop hits around not being good enough. The top 10 of not worthiness audios, music. You know what I mean. And as we dial into that, it gets worse. So become conscious of what you're tuning into. And this can be beyond the tuning of just emotions, but tuning into those that you connect with. What frequency are they operating from? The environment you're in, what frequency is that environment? Is it uplifting? Is it negative? Is it like very debilitating? Because when you become conscious of this, it then goes into like my kind of ideal mindset of whatever I want wants me to. Whatever I desire desires me to. And in order for that to be a reality, I've got to think about what I want and how it makes me feel. And then if I operate from that feeling of the desire that I have, I'm now tuning in not to scarcity, not to my issue, not to my fear, not to my doubts, not to my limiting beliefs, but now I'm tuning into the station of, yes, I have this. Because I'm tuning into the feeling of the wish fulfilled. I'm tuning into having assumed it already, and therefore I'm radiating from that frequency of the desire that has been met. And like I said, it also goes into your environment. So just become conscious of this. And if you're interested more, you can go onto the hypnosis library, especially the one with the wish fulfilled hypnosis session, which is in day, night, and also the 4-hour sleep in the hypnosis section library, and also the 4-hour one being in the 4-hour section, because that really allows you to tune in to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, to assume the feeling of having achieved it already. And that's going to be very, very helpful. So become conscious of the radio station that you're tuning into with your thoughts, your feelings, the people in your life and your environment, and then start to tune in to the desire feeling, the feeling that you would like to feel having achieved your goals, and you're getting your unconscious mind to go there. The more consistent you are, the more it's easier to get locked in to the radio station of your thoughts, your feelings, your desires in a way that serves you. So with that, I look forward to speaking to you on a future reflection. Many thanks and goodbye. Okay, we did another one. We'll move that on the done and ready to be edited list. So we did 6, that's great. Recently, I think listening to hypnosis is becoming a hobby. I really enjoy it, but is that a bad thing? Because you said we shouldn't keep needing it, right? So I said that on the workshop, I think. So there's no such, well, let me backtrack. When hypnosis becomes a chore, I say dial it back, because it shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't have like negative associations to anything. And this can go the same thing for like desired outcomes. Yeah, you gotta do the hard work sometimes, but if it's only hard work and you're not passionate about the thing you're doing to get to the goal or outcome, I would try to find another way of getting to the outcome. Despite you needing to do the hard work, there's not gonna be elements. But with hypnosis, if it does start to become a chore or, oh my goodness, I gotta listen to another session, then you dial it back. If you're enjoying it and you are getting benefit from it, then you are going to enjoy it because you're benefiting from it. So that's all good. The only thing what I don't want people to do is become overly reliant on my work. And not because I don't want them to listen to me, but I want them to get the freedom from their problem. So if someone is working on their symptoms all the time and not the core issue, they become reliant on just working on symptoms. So that's why I said I don't want people to carry on listening to me for ultimately ever, because I prefer them to get the result so they don't need to listen to that hypnosis session anymore. Now, it's not to say that we don't want to keep on growing, so there may be other sessions which are geared for growth, or we may want to add to that to make sure it's complete, because it makes us feel better. If we feel more confident after each lesson, we're growing and getting better without the root cause, then we're just building momentum. So that's what I really mean by that. I don't want us to work on the symptoms by just listening to the hypnosis sessions. We want to work on the root cause, and that means you don't have to. And the key word is don't have to. Don't need to. Those two words are the needs of necessity. It's a necessity that I've got to listen to this. That takes the power away from you. But if you go, well, it's a hobby and I get to enjoy this, it makes me feel good, then we feel good about it. So I want to, and that means we have a really good energy to it. So I think if you can decipher behind all of what I just said there is not the symptoms, only the cause. If you're enjoying it, it's not a need to, have to, got to, so therefore it's I want to, and it gives us more joy and freedom. And also if it means that we're getting a deeper connection with our unconscious mind with each hypnosis session, then that is just getting in rapport with our unconscious mind. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Does that make sense? It's a bit like, actually, the reliance, like if I have a client or a listener, a watcher, a consumer of my work, and they become reliant on me, as in my work, that's just very disempowering. I want them to be able to go, I use this as a tool to now move on. That would be like the ideal way, right? Like it's like just on a humanity level that we kind of keep on growing, but not having to rely. And that's why I said earlier that I don't fix people. I might guide them to be able to fix themselves. And then that leaves them in a resourceful state to go, okay, Joseph was there, but it wasn't Joseph. It was always within me already. Because as soon as someone gets overly attached to my work in a negative way, then I have to put specific boundaries in place. And if there were to get any negative associations, I would, in my power, to, like if I get overly sensitive messages on YouTube, I wouldn't have any hesitation to block them on the channel, because it's my integrity on the line. And also, if people leave comments which are geared that other people will look at those comments or reviews or something like that, they might go, oh, that Joseph, he's a weird guy, because the comments that he's receiving from this person seems like they're overly reliant or saying inappropriate things which wouldn't be necessary as a relationship connection as a practitioner and if it were to be a client. So it's one of those things you got to navigate when the tools are there for you to discover your own freedom, if that makes sense. Yeah, and that would mean that we are more geared to furthering ourselves. And they're my favorite kind of ones as well. Thank you. And just so is it Kia? Kia? I'm not very good at pronunciations half the time. But feel free to let me know. That means I can actually say your name. Is it Kia? Oh, Mr. C's up. Hey, Mr. C. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube. I don't know if you're here. Hey, I've been streaming so long. No, it's not. I had to create my audio to loop on these because I'm streaming for so long. 85 minutes now. Can I block people from using the app? No. Just YouTube. Because I can't interact with them on the app. But I can interact on comments. I can report negative reviews. As in not negative, like if they say they don't like my work or what have you, don't like the functionality, I can't contest those. But if they are saying things which are scandalous, like someone said that my app installs spyware, which is ridiculous because literally Android tests to make sure those things don't happen, then I would do that, but I can't stop people. I don't think. Now, questions are good. I like questions. Try to work on the root cause. You got the workshop recordings. So go through the recording step by step. It is, and Mina can confirm this. Mina, confirm this if you agree with it. That the workshop, we got down to your root cause. Mina, confirm that. Mina. Mina. Confirm that. That's true. I do need to eat. Thank you. Oh, look at that. Awesome. No. So I just dropped. A little thing off my desk. There we go. Get off that echo. Kia. Gotta remember that. So there you go. That wasn't a hypnotic suggestion at all. But the workshop guided everyone. The feedback I got from it was everyone got to their root cause. So listen to the recording. You got it. You'll be fine. And that means you don't have to work on all the things, just the one thing. He says he's going to go every 5 minutes, yet why am I speaking in a third person? Ridiculous. I say I'm going to go every 5-10 minutes and then I stay around. Yeah, it's like calling someone from a dream. Like you're in a sleep and they go, wake up. Hey.
Wake up. Hello. Oh no. I'm in the void. Oh dear. Okay. Are you ready?
Are you ready to close off a stream? So thank you all for being here. I do greatly appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed some aspects of the content that I was creating for the app, which will be coming out hopefully in the next couple of weeks. And watch out for the app as well, because I am releasing 2 hypnosis, or technically 3 if you're a subscriber. You get the sleep sessions, ad-free experience, and all the other sections. But if you want just the free stuff, I'm still releasing 2 hypnosis sessions, or a meditation and hypnosis session every single week, totally for free. You don't have to pay for anything. All you gotta do is put up with an ad or 2 occasionally. And to be honest, you can just fast forward it. I won't get any dollar from it, but it's entirely up to you. You get to choose that. Thank you, and I will speak to you all on a future live stream. Many thanks and goodbye.